This is Vince Wilburn Jr. You're listening to Jazz Is Not What You Think.
We are here today with a friend of mine who we have fun every time we're together, Vince Wilburn Jr. You probably heard his music and didn't even know it. He's a drummer, producer, band leader. And what a lot of people don't know, and a lot of people do know, is that he was Miles Davis's nephew.
Got an
How
Emmy?
cool is that? And the Emmy.
Emmy. Oh.
So we're going to talk about that. You're spoiler alert, but the Vince, first of all, it's great to see you. And
Great to see you too, man.
And one of the things that I wanted to ask you right off the bat, because I'm listening to the new album, it's great. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of energy. It's a lot of stuff going on. It is, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit. It's a big production. Mm-hmm. And you changed the name of the band. It was Miles Electric Band, and now it's just MEB.
Yes. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Tell me all about that.
Well, the reason for that is promoters started categorizing the band as a tribute band. And we're far from a tribute band. And there's the group actually consists of all leaders in their own right, So
yeah, absolutely.
We figured let's put a spin on it. And everybody knows how much we all love Miles, and we've played with Miles, and that's I call it Miles Davis University.
Right.
But we thought we'd make it a play on words and call it just MEB, with some new music,
Yeah, no, and so for those, the album's going to be out in a couple of weeks. I think it's April 21st.
Right.
And the like Vince was saying, I mean, it's a powerhouse personnel. I mean, it's Robert Irving. I mean, there's so many great artists, performing artists, recording artists on this album, all playing music as an acknowledgement of the great music and the great artist Miles Davis. But it's fresh. I mean, it's also your own. You're doing some pretty interesting, very forward-thinking type of genre on there, because it's not all about jazz, although jazz is all the way through it. It's pop, it's hip hop. There's so much going on. How do you come up with a concept like that that's so rich in heritage and yet so forward thinking in style?
Well, it's about what we love, everybody in the group thinks outside the box. Miles taught us to think outside the box, So, when the COVID, when the COVID happened, it kind of put everybody on the back burner. Touring, getting together, because everybody's spread out all over the country, and so Daryl Jones was working on the documentary. Bobby's producing in Chicago. Antoine was working with his son Kojo. So I took the time to still stay creative and think about putting something together. And this is right before COVID. I mean, we finished right before COVID, but it was just a vibe, just an energy vibe. And I was thinking who could co-produce with me, or who could kind of vibe the vision. And I was talking to Lenny White one day, and I said, Lenny, man, it would be great to just put down some tracks and record some music for MEB to get out of that stigma of tribute band, And he said, man, let me get back to you. I'll look at some videos. And he watched some of the live videos, and then he called me back. And then we went to Sony, and Sony gave us a budget, Sony Legacy, and bam, And the hard part was trying to map out everybody's schedules. you know, some of the guys couldn't be on the record because they were out touring or doing other projects. So I just started making phone calls, and everybody
Hmm.
was saying, between Lenny and I, we just, put up a bulletin board and we just chalk, the music spoke to us. Each track spoke to us in
Hmm.
terms of who we would like to contribute. Thank
So
God the guys that we called were available.
yeah, and you know what I've always loved about talking to you, you have a Rolodex. I mean, again, you call people and they call you back, and it's like, yeah, I'd love to be part of that project, and you've done so many cool things because of that. Whether it's the Miles movie, the documentary, other music projects that you've been involved with, you make the
Working with
call.
you, working with you.
Oh,
No, come on, man.
yeah.
I don't know. Let's be real. How many musicians have your home phone number or your cell phone?
Uh,
Right? The secret is out.
Yeah, yeah,
But
no,
but you
it's true. But because you love what you do, and I love what I do.
passionate. You have to have
Hmm.
passion. So when we started tracking, or when Lenny would send me demos, we mapped it out because the track spoke to us. We were like, what about Ron for this? What about the original Miles trumpet for this? What about,
Yeah.
you know, Jeremy Pelt for this? And then we had Bernard Wright blessed us,
Oh
and
man.
Wallace Roney, God rest his soul, he blessed Marcus,
I mean,
Darrell. It was like,
I mean,
and like you said, no one turned us down when we would call them.
and that's the bittersweet part. I mean, some of these incredible artists are no longer with us,
Yeah,
and of course, you have the secret sauce where when you want to put Miles in there, you do it and you make it
yeah.
happen, and no one's going to argue with Vince, and it gets done. So this album is interesting in that Miles is on it. You have all these living legends on it, a couple who have passed. There's fusion, there's hip hop. I mean, it's a very cool amalgam. It's one of these things that we miss in a lot of more recent recordings, and that is you listen to the album from beginning to end, and you have this feeling, this vibe, this trip that you've taken the listener on, which I think is so missing in today's music scene.
But we learned it from the Chief, from Uncle Miles.
Yeah,
Take them
yeah,
on a journey. Even live, he would take the listeners on a journey, the fans. So Lenny and I picked up on that.
yeah,
When
yeah.
when Lenny said when he was recording Bitches Brew, they had no idea what it would sound like until Lenny saw it in a record store in San Francisco. You know, and
Yeah.
and took it home and played it.
So there's a cool new rap from Blue and a DJ Architect, and to me that seems like, I mean, I know we don't think much of radio anymore, but this is a track that's going to reach a completely different audience.
And that's
And
exactly what we were trying to do, Mike. Not to cut you off, but
no,
when you like Uncle Mouse used to say, don't rest on your laurels. And he always was listening to sounds and trying to take the music forward. I lived with him and he and Aaron down in Malibu, and I would just watch him in his day to day. He'd wake up and the music was in. I mean, he lived and breathed and it was
yeah,
music was Miles. Miles was music, and that rubbed off on me. Rubbed off
yeah,
on Aaron, and I would just I was like, man, it's like material things he had. Homes in Malibu, homes in New York, cars,
yeah,
but
yeah.
he was never driven by that. You know, not to say he didn't dig it, but it was
Well, it's okay.
always about the music. You know,
Yeah. It was
and
always about
sound.
the passion always came through. It was
Yeah,
always about the music. From the early days when I was listening to Uncle Miles to right till the end. And the thing that I always said about people in general, and that is if you're really passionate and really good about what you do, the money will follow.
yeah, yeah. And
Don't do it for the money. And I think your Uncle Miles was like that. It was like, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. And if it makes money, great, which it did. But it's all about creating that art.
Well, he sacrificed a lot to get to where he
Mm-hmm.
was, and he kept, he kept reaching. Like Wayne, we just lost Wayne Shorter. Wayne was that
Yeah.
way, you know. Anybody that's ever played with Uncle Mouse, or all artists, always reach, and it doesn't have to be in jazz. It could be in any music, I think, I just listened to some tracks by Jack White, from
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
he's a,
Sure.
you know how Prince was, you know how shoot Taylor Swift, will put. I heard she's doing a 3 hour show, you know.
Well,
So
I
it's
mean,
just
even Vince, I mean to cut you off, but
uh,
we've been talking recently to Santana, and Santana's done the gamut from, literally from rock that you never heard before Santana to jazz. We just talked about Caravanserai, and when he talks about your Uncle Miles, it is like it takes him somewhere.
yeah,
He is
yeah.
so he is so in love with the music of Miles, and of course Miles Davis, the person,
Hmm.
that I'd never had a conversation with Santana where he doesn't bring up Miles.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He loved Uncle Mouse, and Uncle Mouse loved him. If I remember correctly, Carlos presented him with a nice necklace, gold necklace, and Uncle Mouse wore it to the day he transitioned, ascended, So they had a beautiful bond that still lasts to this day.
Yeah, I mean, I just interviewed him a couple months back, and we talked about Miles.
Yeah,
It,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
so tell us about, because you're an entrepreneur as well. You have a production company, Neff Drum Productions. Can you
Hmm.
tell our viewers what you do? And because it's a lot of projects. I mean, you're involved in a lot of things.
Well, Neff Drum was kind of my way to work with other musicians, and at the time I was trying to get a label deal, like an imprint,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and and a lot of dollars later I never got the imprint, but I had fun making records with these artists that I had the blessings to work with,
Some
and
big
and that's
names.
yeah, that's another passion that I still have the original tapes from all these sessions. I mean, we had Billy Preston in my living room playing a Hammond B3, Phil Upchurch, uh, uh, um, um, Russ Ferrante, um, Freddie Washington. I mean, it just we were just
Wawa
another.
Watson.
Oh, Wawa came, and I'm still fanning out on Wawa sessions, you know, and it's like when you call and your heart is in the right place, cats come, you know,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
what I've had. I've been blessed to be able to do that, because
And
guys know that I'm
your heart's in it.
respectful of their talent. You know what I mean,
Yeah.
and what they do.
How about I heard about this thing you're doing at South by Southwest, Miles Davis House.
We didn't do it this year, but we've done it in the past few years before COVID, and it's where we feature artists, that are either appearing around the festival, or that Aaron and I just dig. We get a list of musicians, a list of groups and bands that are playing, and we put them on. We reach out to their managers and ask them if they'd like to come and participate at the Miles House, play at the Miles House. And that's another thing that it's like when people know that. I think the name Miles Davis has a lot to do with it, but when people know that, oh, to play at the Miles House, hell yeah, let's go. I
Yeah.
mean, we've had everybody from Lucinda Williams. It's like it's incredible, and we're friends with Willie Nelson, so we go out to the Luck Ranch and hang out with
Wow.
Willie. So it's Mike, it's definitely a blessing. But we're going to be there next year,
Good.
and we have we
Good.
have four
Because
night we have 4 nights in May. Um, the music of Miles. I think it starts May 24th, 25th, 26th, or May 25th. I'll send you the It's,
okay.
it's it's sponsored by SF Jazz.
Oh
So the
yeah.
first night is Kind of Blue, the music of Kind of Blue. The second night is the music of Gil Evans. sketches of Miles, we call it. The
Great.
third night would be Miles from India, and the fourth night is the Miles Electric Band.
That's great. So that's wonderful. I was just talking the other day to a wonderful gentleman who his father was a great photographer who shot Miles, and we talked about you, of course,
Hmm.
and we talked about the Miles Davis exhibit that was in Canada,
Hmm.
and we were saying, why did that never come to the U.S.? Because that I actually was fortunate enough to go and see it, and it was mind-boggling.
Oh, you
And
talking about We Want Miles?
yes,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
and I was hoping that you could bring that to the U.S. because that was, I mean, you walked through it and you got chills.
Yeah, we're gonna. That's in the works too to bring it. It's so expensive to move it, and we have to have it. You have to have um, some underwriting, because it's a very expensive exhibit to move. And we had it in Brazil and in Paris and Montreal. We had it in
Yeah,
France. So
yeah. I went to the one in Montreal. It was incredible.
yeah,
So well, before you say anything,
mhm.
listeners, sponsors for this. This is if you love jazz and you love Miles, you will literally be taken through the eras in a museum entity that it was so brilliantly put together. And then I assumed it was going to be in the U.S. and I found out it never came here.
Yeah, we're talking. We've actually had some conversations about bringing it to the U.S. and it's curated by Vincent Bestier from the city
Hmm.
of de la Musique in France. So no, they're you know we're hoping and praying that we get it to the United States soon.
Oh, that's great. So MEB, new album out on April 22nd. Tour. What about it?
Tourists coming. We've already speaking about the U.S. tour to a couple of promoters. I think 10 to 15 dates in the U.S. So if you go to mileselectricband.com, the dates will be listed. So stay tuned. And then we're gonna play in May. I don't know how much of the new music we'll get to, but we're always looking forward to playing. So
Yeah. Well,
we
we look
can't wait.
forward to hearing it.
Man, we're excited, very excited. You know, we have
Well,
enough music. Hey, we have enough music for volume two, volume three. Because I couldn't get all the music on this record. A lot of the guys in the band, they have music too. So it's like
and
it's
and I'm
endless.
waiting. I'm waiting for the pink vinyl 12-inch
Okay, you
because
got it
I heard all about that. And as you can see, I love vinyl.
right.
Um,
So do I.
and yeah, I heard there was a 12-inch pink vinyl, and I said, I mean, you're going to have to press a lot of
And
those.
I want to mention the cover art is by Michael Elam, right?
Yeah.
And he was actually he traveled with Uncle Miles, and he's
Wow.
family, and he's a hell of an artist, and he's based out of Philly,
And
and
isn't he the same artist that you used on the album you did with Robert Glasper?
no,
Or is that a
no,
different artist?
it's a different artist.
Okay.
Yeah,
Very abstract, really beautiful artwork.
yeah. Check his site out, Michael
It's
Mikel.
Mikel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
elam.com. He's a bad cat. And what he
We'll.
did is he had a blank canvas, right? Because
Mhm.
he didn't want to just submit some of his works. So he said, Vince, send me the record. Let me listen to the record. Then I'll come up with something. And this is the album cover.
This is it.
It's amazing.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, as we all know, your Uncle Miles was an artist himself and did an incredible amount of artwork. I proudly own a signed piece by your Uncle Miles, and so art and Miles Davis go together.
Yeah. Michael and Uncle Miles painted together, you
Yeah.
know. And when I lived with him, that's what he would start with in the morning. He would go to we called them stations. He would go to the dining room table, paint a little bit, play the horn, play the piano, The TV would be. I tell the story all the time. The TV was turned down with MTV, maybe with sound down. If it was a group he dug, he turned it up. Play the trumpet to the rec, to the whatever was playing. Call the label, have them send the record. Next thing you know, we're doing a track from Toto. We're doing Human Nature from Michael Jackson. He did his Time After Time, Cyndi Lauper.
Sure, sure, sure.
Loved Prince. You know,
Yeah.
so that's and we change clothes on top of that 6 times a day. I don't know anybody that changes clothes 6 times a day.
No,
You know.
no.
But it was beautiful to be around that energy. I miss that.
Yeah. Oh, I bet. I mean,
Yeah.
it's I've heard stories about, growing up when your uncle would come to Chicago
Yeah.
and perform when you lived there, whole family would go there, and it was just Uncle Miles.
Yeah, and
Uncle Miles, Miles Davis.
I was fortunate enough to stay on the side of the stage in the wings. My parents would would view the concert from the audience, but I wanted to get a bird's eye view of everything that was going on. You know, and
Huh.
Tony Williams told Wallace. He said, by the way that Vince used to stare at me, I knew he was going to play drums because I was mesmerized. I'm still mesmerized when I'm around Herbie and Ron.
Yeah.
Uncle Ron, I call him. And God bless Wayne. And Tony.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh yeah.
uh,
Oh, that's great.
Wayne
Well,
sent me a birthday. My birthday's April 3rd, and Wayne sent me a video my last birthday that I'll always cherish. A birthday video.
wow.
You know,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. Well, we're very excited about this new album, the tour, and all the things you do. Vince, you're a Renaissance man. You come up with things. I mean, I think from the movie to music to touring to the productions you put together, we appreciate all the wonderful work you do, and we look forward to a lot more.
Thank you, man. We also have a great team with Aaron, my cousin, Daryl Porter, my cousin Cheryl. These are Miles' children. We have a
Yeah.
great team. Our PR firm. Melissa and our string of lawyers, and takes it takes a village. But
Yeah,
we need
sure.
more like you who champion this music. And champion what we do. But you're a lover of
Well,
music, so that's where it starts.
yeah. That's easy. That's easy. You could sell me anytime.
Starts from the heart.
Yeah,
Starts from the
absolutely.
heart. Yeah. Thank you, man.
Thank you. And we'll be in touch again for sure.
Okay, cool. You got my number, man. Cool.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great
And
to
I
see you.
have
Great to
yours.
talk to you. I know. All right. Be well.
Blessings to your family. Okay.
You too. And thanks for being on the show.
We'll
We'll
send
talk
you some.
soon.
We got some merch to send you from the
Okay.
album. We'll send it out to you.
I love it. Thanks, Vince.
Okay, man. Love you,
Be
man.
well.
Peace. Bye
I
bye.
love you too. All right. Bye
Bye.
bye.